We're your hosts, Sally F. and Damon Phillips. We're here to help you rethink your money mindset, navigate family finances, and create financial peace without losing sight of what truly matters. It's a little bit practical, a little bit personal, and a whole lot of transformative. So grab your coffee, friend, because it's time to talk real life and real money. Welcome back. We got a new studio, if you will, but not really.
Is that what this is? The studio?
It's in a temporary studio. We're still mid redecorating.
/ model.
Yeah, so TV glare, whatever, but she gets some furniture and less echoing. Okay, so episode 8.
It's like the one after 7.
It is the one after 7. And right before?
9.
Right before 9. So have you ever done a money date, like a money retreat, a money...
Is that where you pay and I don't?
like a money weekend. And so here's kind of where we got the idea from this. We talk about how we used to do, like when we owned the gym.
So we would go, usually we would go to breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
We have a place in town that we would like to go. And we would just talk about how the business had gone over the last year. Were there any surprises? A lot of times there were. Did we have the money to pay for it? Or did we have to save a couple of months? What were the average fixed costs for the things that we knew we had? And
we even did, the fun part is we would do some planning. What kind of events are we going to have? What kind of expenses? What kind of workshops are we going to provide?
Were we going to have, we would have like workout parties where we would, we actually had one of the best parties we ever had, a cereal party.
We did a cereal party. We were talking about that the other day. It was his birthday. This has absolutely nothing to do with finances, but also fun. And everybody that came in, there was 20, 30 people.
Bought their favorite box of kids' cereal.
And we all bought a bowl and different kinds of milks, and we ate. And then they let us take all the leftovers home.
Our son was very happy about that because he had about 13, 14 boxes of cereal that we actually had to go somewhere, and he ate on them. And when I came back, it was like Cheerios and Raisin Bran were the only ones that were left. So
the concept is, with a business, you're very intentional about where I would assume a business is very intentional about what's the upcoming year. What are the expenses? What are we going to have? And I feel like for a lot of couples, there's a drift that happens when decisions and intention aren't made. Whether it's spending, whether it's saving, savings doesn't happen without intention. Is that
correct? Unless you put it kind of like on autopilot. Even then, don't you need to look at your investments? And are they performing the way you want? Do you have an opportunity to change them if they don't? And that's kind of how you've got to do it with everything. So
yeah, I don't think it's, for most people, it's bad planning. I think it's a lack of planning.
I agree with that. A lot of times people don't want to talk about money, so don't.
Right.
And then all of a sudden something happens that forces you to, and that becomes even more uncomfortable than just would be if you sat down with intention and had a conversation.
Right. And if you listen to our other podcasts, you're going to hear us over and over find a neutral territory, talk about money on a regular basis, not just when it's a problem. And so an annual retreat, whether it's a trip, whether it's a breakfast date, a long coffee date, to look back over the past year and just, get your online checking account. What were our big expenses? How many times did we stay within budget? Do you even know what those 13 visits to Target that were $200 a piece? Do we know what they were?
I think a lot of times in a couple, one, and I know that was true for us, is that one has the checkbook, or in our case, the cash envelopes. And so, I didn't always know what was going on. And then when we did, I would ask questions. And then eventually when we became a little bit more automated, and I made that part of my daily process, kind of looking that, I could sit there and ask. And I remember Sally used to tell me she hated when I would ask her questions if she didn't have the answer. And I think the more we did it and the more that she's like, okay, Dee's going to look at this and he's going to, ask her, or maybe I knew what it was, but it's just, it forces the couple to look at the money together, even if there's one that does a majority of the check writing or setting up the
day-to-day.
Exactly.
Whatever. Okay. So the real life format, sit down together, pull up the bank account and skim month to month. As you look back, are there surprises? Are there big, I always think that the thing is, were there big expenses and we don't even know what that was anymore, right?
Sometimes even the fixed costs, like in Texas, when it's really hot, you start thinking, "Oh my gosh, I didn't know the electricity bill would be that high," and then you kinda start thinking, "Well, maybe that's something that we need
Mhm.
to adjust,
Yeah,
at least in
especially
the
if you
summer."
move. I know one house we lived in where the house we raised our kids in, our summer bills were high, but they were never as high as our winter bills, and that always shocked me. In Texas? Really? And even as you look back, were we generous with our money, and did we save anything? How were we at saving with our money? Obviously, there would have need to be a discussion about, are we headed in the direction that we want? And if there are never conversations, we may not have ever had that conversation. Where are we even headed? Are we unified in that? Any thoughts on?
The times is like you may think, "Hey, this is something that we need to do." For example, need to replace the couch, or one that's always seems to be big in the Phillips household is we gotta replace tires, and those of you that have ever bought tires, that's not fun and it's not cheap, but it's like, okay, got some money saved up and you're hydroplaning all over the place because your tires are bald. Probably a good time to go
Yeah,
buy it. So it's just thinking about the types of expenditures that you might get.
sure.
Think, okay, do we have the money? Do we need to start saving the money? Are we being proactive or we're being reactive? And for us, early in our relationship, it was always about being reactive.
Sure.
And then I think we may have may have switched more so to the really proactive is like, let's have this big slush fund. So when these things do come up, we can easily dip into it
Yes.
and not have to worry. For me, that was very comforting. It's just like, look, I don't want to pay for it, but the money's there. Let's do it. And then we can always build that back up.
Yeah. I used to always say I thought tires were the least sexy way to spend money. You don't get to see it, but you know what's sexy is being alive instead of dead or having accidents because you wore your tires down to them. Okay, so as you're dreaming together, are we headed in the right direction? What about, do we have a big goal for the year? Is our big goal for the year we're going to redo the furniture in the house? Are we going to take a trip overseas? Are we planning? I mean, let's face it, when the kids were little, are we saving for college? Are we? I don't remember when we started. Do you remember when we started talking about we want to retire early? You don't
Honestly,
do that at the age of 40
no,
and say I'm going to retire in my early 50s.
correct. I think the circumstances showed themselves what it allowed us to, but also that we had been saving and been proactive with the retirement accounts that that became an option as markets improved. And then as we looked to sell the business and we started adding the two incomes there together, it's like, okay, this is really an option. So I don't think it was so much the planning for a specific age as it was being able to make that decision when those opportunities became available. And they
Yeah,
may not become available to everybody. We did not proactively seek, though, to set a certain retirement. It was just, hey, we realized this is something we could do. We decided this is was it.
right, right. And then, of course, if we've got big goals in mind or we're working towards a goal, now what do we need to do? Do we need to adjust the budget? Do we need to save more for whatever the long-term plan is? Do we need to even schedule when are we going to check in? Is it the weekly check in? Is it a monthly check? Is this a weekly check in? It's not superficial, but just the checkbook, or is it the
And I
whole big
think that's
picture?
hard to do in a very short meeting. You know, we took a long, I mean, breakfast it took us about an hour, hour and a half, but we
Mhm.
had kind of had our system down of we
Yeah,
knew what we
it
had to
got
have
easier.
there in order to have the discussion. So I think it's like what you have said in the past. You've got to kind of find your way, and it's easier to do something simple, like you just said. Just go over the checkbook the first time. And once that becomes comfortable, maybe next time you add your investments in
Mhm.
there, your 401k accounts, if, like you said, if you're saving for the kids, 529s, up like that, you can start looking at those. And as you create your process, then it actually becomes much more streamlined that you get a lot more done in a lot less time simply because you've done it in the past
We have a financial advisor. We meet with him
once a year
once a
minimum.
year. Same thing, right?
But we talk to him probably
Oh,
once a quarter. This is a good
he's
friend
our
of
buddy.
mine. So
He's
I call him to play golf or
yeah,
go have lunch,
he's a
but
good guy. Either way, keep it playful, make it fun. If there's
so I can put you in a headlock next time.
make it fun, make it special. Go out to dinner, like I said, some kind of a retreat of some sort. Is so that it's not a scary, overwhelming thing. And I promise you, it does get easier. So, looking back, looking around, looking ahead, are we reviewing what we've spent our money on? Are we evaluating our habits and our priorities? And are we setting new goals together? Some questions to ask. The things we did last year, were they worth it? Was it really worth it? Where did we overspend and why? Is that something we wanna do again? If for no other reason, not to beat yourselves up, but to say, "Is that a tendency? Is that a one-off overspend? Is that a tendency? It's a tendency. Do I wanna keep repeating it?" And then when a little forward thinking, when we meet together here next year, what do I not wanna happen? What do I want to happen so that this goes either smoother or more in alignment with what we're looking to do?
I think also as you start to talk about it, you start to be getting more in alignment because you've communicated that it may not be exactly what one person wants or what the other wants, but it's not a surprise. And when things aren't just all of a sudden thrown in there, I think it becomes much easier. It's like, okay, hey, I may not wanted to have put green wood on the wall, but we did. It's like, oh, it's great. I love it.
It's
But
gotta
it's not something that necessarily I had thought about. I thought just a simple paint would be great, but look how wrong I was. It's nice to be wrong every now and then. So I appreciate that.
I'm glad that's on record.
Oh
I
yeah.
wanna save that little sound bite for the future.
It'll be a meme that I constantly get every year.
Okay, so this is it. I love this takeaway. Your bank account is telling a story. Make sure it's the one you want it to tell. And your financial vision, it doesn't need to match your neighbors, your parents, I don't know,
People like you
Instagram
say,
strangers.
yeah.
Yeah, your
Yes.
Instagram strangers. So all you need to worry about is you.
I'll go back to what we've said in the past is that you start like what we have talked about in the past. You start with small things, you do it, you make it easier, and then you slowly start adding. And that's the reason that's how we used to coach. Remember, is
Yeah.
we would say, hey, we're going to change one thing. Drink your water. Oh, that's easy. Good. Do it. You know? And when you come back and tell me it's easy, I'll add something else. And then once you do that, then we'll add something else. And before you know it, you've made 10 changes over 10 weeks instead of trying to make 10 changes in week one and none of them stuck. So I think that's what has worked for us. Again, it became our way, and you've got to find your way. And we would love to hear about it. That if you sit down and you say, "Look, this is what worked for us," and that may be something we never thought of.
Absolutely.
And we're
We
not
certainly
above
don't claim to think we have all the answers.
not above taking something that works better than what we got either.
Sure,
So,
sure. Let us know when you schedule that money date, money getaway,
and when you get those new tires.
or a green wall. Thanks so much for spending time with us today. If you know somebody who would benefit from this episode, we would love it if you shared it with them. And if you're listening on the Apple Podcast app, we'd love a 5-star rating and a review. If you're listening on Spotify, hit follow and tap that notification bell so you never miss an episode. And if you're watching us on YouTube, subscribing's the way to go. If you're ready to take control of your money and your mindset, I offer one-on-one coaching to help you thrive financially and personally. We'll see you soon for another real life money talk.